Legion, it's Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's jump back into Frostpunk in a new series I'm calling The Black Faith. For the Frostpunk familiar, this is going to be a new home scenario run, but I'm going to make it considerably harder on myself than I did last time around, which was also a new home run. Our first go at this was called The Great Order. If you missed it, here's a playlist link if you want to check it out. We took the high secular road, pursuing order over faith and being careful not to cross the line and forsake our humanity in the process of surviving. A day will come when we take the low secular road here on the channel, but it is not this day. This day, we are taking the other road entirely. We're going to be as black-hearted as we have to be, and faith will be our guide. Which is not to say that faith is the darkness and order is the light, as there's plenty of room for gray in both, whether you're playing a game or just living your life. But for storytelling purposes, I want this series to be the polar opposite of the Great Order, and so I give you the Black Faith. This is going to be a tough one for me for a couple of reasons. On the one hand, if you watch The Great Order, you know that I really took the high road and tried to look after my people. You can see that I've got a game going here where I was kind of getting warmed up and getting back into Frostpunk a little bit. This time, though, I'm going to be mean. I'm going to be nice when it's politically necessary, but otherwise I'm going to be cruel. And the decisions we're going to make are going to be as tyrannical as possible. So it'll be brutal in that way, but also I'm going to play the new home scenario, a new home scenario, on hard, which I typically play Frostpunk on medium, but I find that when I play games for YouTube, something interesting happens to the way that I play, and it happens all the time. It's this weird phenomenon where I am more attentive to my decision-making in a way that's hard to even force out of myself when I'm not playing for YouTube. So we're going to give hard a shot. If we fail within the first 5 episodes or so, which is probably a good marker, I will start over, and we will just go until the series is concluded, and we'll do our best with hard difficulty regardless. And feel free to give feedback in the comments, whether you are talking to me or other people in the comments that are trying to figure out how to play this lovely and challenging title. But this is going to be an interesting run. Let's go ahead and jump in.
We roam the still, cold world. No horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress. Until the frost stopped it all. Suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow, and with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope pushed us forward. Slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
So if you're not familiar with Frostpunk, now you kind of know what we're up against. This is made by 11-Bit Studios, the same folks that made this War of Mine a couple of years ago. I did a series called, I mentioned this in the Great Order, I did a series called Out of Ashes when the channel was quite small that showcased what that game is all about. And these games are about kind of pulling at the emotional heartstrings, presenting emergent stories of human survival, kind of against all odds, against overwhelming odds, really. We fled from London and crossed the sea to reach the frozen north. On the way, our convoy was hit by a blizzard and scattered. A handful of us managed to reach the site of this generator, only to find it frozen solid and abandoned. Why is no one here? Did any of our people survive the blizzard? Are there any others out there? Whatever we do, we should expect the worst now that the world as we know it has crumbled. Oh, you have no idea what's coming, you poor innocent survivors. We have to survive. They know not the cruelty of their overlord, their captain. Okay, so obviously we need to get this generator running. Let's go ahead and stop for a moment. One of the major changes that's occurred since the last time we played is now we have nameable citizens. So I'm scrolling through all of my citizens here, and I think I'm just scrolling through the adults, but I can also select the kids if I can find the kids. Is this a kid? No. Hang on. The kids should be around here somewhere. They tend to play. They might pop up later on. I'm not sure. But yeah, we can rename all of them. So we can take a second to look around and kind of, I mean, we've got 65 people, 50 people that are adults and then 15 kids. So we're not going to go through every single name, but you're going to start to see some familiar names as we play through, and you can see a lot of variety in the faces. Those have been there since the game launched, but you can now name people, and you can also name automatons, which is pretty cool. Let me go ahead and open the Book of Laws as we start here, and we're going to go straight into the adaptation tree and jump straight into child labor, because we need more hands to help us with gathering resources. We avoided this last time. I'm not going to do too many comparisons to the Great Order, but I just, for the sake of the first episode, a few things we're doing differently. We went for child labor, or child shelters in the Great Order, and that was the first law that we passed. Now we're going for safe jobs. So we're saying that kids can work jobs as long as they are safe jobs, and you saw hope drop as a result of that. People generally don't like child labor. Can't imagine why. So let's go ahead and set some people on this coal pile here, a couple of workers. Also set some more workers on this wood, and then some workers and engineers on that wood pile, and we'll send the kids to collect the steel. The steel is kind of the least important of the resources I have available to me right now. We're going to play on speed 1 as we get started. We'll pick up the pace as we start to get a little more comfortable, but again, we're playing on hard difficulty, so I'm not going to mess around at all. We might go up to speed 2 in a second, but what I really want to see is the kids. Because I was playing a game where I was kind of getting ready, and I saw them like playing around the generator, and right now I don't see them. So I guess, oh, hang on, there's one. All right, Nettie Vaughn is heading out to gather some steel. I noticed for the first time that they're out there, visible in the game itself, which I had not seen before. I'm going to try and employ some of the things that I learned from the last YouTube run I did in Frostpunk, which one of the things, of course, is you can use the middle mouse button to change the orientation of various buildings and have, different looking versions of buildings. I do want to get these homes built as rapidly as possible. I said I'm going to be cruel, but I'm going to try not to let people die. We still want to survive. The objective is still to survive, but we are going to pursue very inhumane means to do so in this series. Alright, so you can see that some fire barrels have already been set up for these resource gatherers. We're working on getting these first homes set up. Let's go ahead and go to speed 2. Now, we already have 100 coal gathered, which is nice and quick. I'm going to go ahead and say these workers need to be pulled off, and I'm going to send them over here to gather this wood, just so we can gather as much wood as possible this first day. Alright, let's go ahead and do those first 4 houses there, and very similarly to what we did last time, I'm going to put a street here. Let's go ahead and send it out in both directions here. Oh wait, hang on, out of wood. There we go. Okay, and eventually we'll have some more houses behind those. Not all of them will be warm, of course, but that's just something we're going to have to live with. Always good to remind ourselves of the various game mechanics. The ones I'm using right now, I probably don't need a refresher course on, but it has been a bit since I played the game frequently, so you might see me checking on a few of the controls as we play. But we are almost done with the workday, and I do believe that I'm going to have enough for housing and maybe even for this first medical post if I'm lucky. Let's see. Oh man, I might not. Nope, not quite. We fell 4 short. These guys didn't quite get to gather enough wood. However, we can go ahead and put together a cookhouse. So why not go ahead and throw one of those down right there? Now, did I not turn the generator on? I guess I didn't. There we go. The generator hums with reassuring warmth, but we shouldn't take it for granted. If the generator goes down, the city dies. I thought for sure I'd turn that on. We're off to a great start. Hadrian doesn't know whether or not the generator's turned on. This series is going to go wonderfully. No, this is good, actually. We've got housing prepared for everyone. No one's particularly... I mean, people were out working in the cold anyway, away from the generator, so it wasn't negatively affecting them that it was off. So that is okay. I'm going to go ahead and put... I need engineers for my eventual... Tell you what, let's take 5 kids and have them work the cookhouse. I need engineers for my eventual medical facilities. And let's go to speed 3 while we're in the overnight. People are just going to sleep, and people are generally... see, there we go. We've got some sick people now because they're out in the cold. You can introduce a new law. Let's see. Alright, so... Fighting arena, soup. I could go ahead and do soup as a means of conserving food. Hope will fall slightly. Discontent will rise slightly. Eating soup will cause discontent. Or we can do food additives. So this will potentially cause more sick people, but it'll cause less discontent. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go for soup right out of the gate. And we're going to say, produce soup rather than raw food. Rather than normal rations. We might eventually upgrade that for the sake of keeping people a little bit more placated, but right now we need to conserve our resources. And people are just going to have to deal. Says me. Okay, so with that being done, we have some new things we need to build. Let's not let the day get away from us. So, yeah, see, I can right-click to change the orientation of these buildings, which is a very handy thing to know. Let's go ahead and build a medical post there. And we do need a... I'm still right-clicking. My surviving Mars habits are... You're going to hear me clicking in the background. If nothing happens, that's because I right-click to try and pull up the build menu. Okay, now we also need to get some gathering huts set up. That much is true. Do I need to do anything before that, is the question. Should I go ahead and get, for instance, the workshops going? There's an argument that maybe I should. But I could free up workers if I went ahead and built the gathering posts first. Oh, decisions. So let's see. If we did one out here. Now these... I find that when I do a gathering post out here, I almost always regret it. These, however, might be more worth my while. Let's see here. If we... Hang on. This is something I was doing in my practice playthrough. Just doing axial construction here. Let's go ahead and just do that road there. And then that road, say, there. We'll have more wood in just a second. It's good to have these roads anyway, even if people are not set up in gathering posts yet, because... Hang on. Yeah, see, that way it looks... Hang on. I'm going to try and get this, like, straight across, if I can. Yeah, I feel like it's right about there. That way it really looks like there's going to be a straight line going through the entire camp. Let's go ahead and do that. And the streets will make it easier for people to move to and from these locations. Let's also go ahead and extend this one all the way out. What do we have here? Child injured at work. A child got distracted at work and has been injured. The accident was not serious and happened entirely due to the child's carelessness. Scold this kid for being careless. Hope will fall slightly. We can give him a day off if we're being nice, but we're not being nice. Hope's gonna fall. Yeah, this is gonna be nice and brutal. Alright, let's go up to speed 3. Now, are all of my people working? Is that why the medical post hasn't been built yet? I'm guessing that's why. Because everyone is occupied. Let's go ahead and get that thing built. Even though there's 5 engineers, I guess workers need to be the ones that are building, otherwise nothing will happen. I thought engineers could do it, but I suppose not. Alright, so next order of business would be to go ahead and build some gathering posts. go ahead and do one right there. And also let's do one right here. If we do one there, it'll be possible. No, never mind. Never mind. Alright, so while we still have daylight, they will hopefully get those built. Let's see, adaptation-wise, what else can we do? We can go ahead and set up fighting arenas. That will help keep the people placated. We also need to go ahead and go with corpse disposal. So that if people die, because people are going to be dying soon, that's going to happen. We'll keep dead bodies out of the heat zone and cover them with snow. The cold will halt their decay. Alright, so I would like to put the corpse disposal, the snow pit, somewhere out this direction. We also need to set up hunting lodges. Isn't this lovely? Alright, let's go ahead and do corpse disposal right there. Alright, now that those have been built, I can go ahead and pull these workers off of these piles. Put some extra workers on the steel pile there. I could technically still pull like 5 kids off, and they'd be a little bit safer. I don't care. See, I gotta shut down my empathy. This is gonna be hard. Okay, now that those are done, I can pull these workers off and plug some in there, and all of those resource piles will be worked, and that leaves me with 5 available workers to do whatever I want them to do. So why not go ahead and build a hunter's hut, please and thanks. We could put it... no, that'll destroy wood in the area. We could put it here, or rather just have it out... Let's put it right there. Snow pit established. The snow pit's ready. Now we can dispose of corpses. But that doesn't mean people are more content or hopeful. Dumping our dead in the snow is nothing to be proud of. You don't say. Right, so we need to build an additional, it looks like, medical post. We want to have 2 that are identical next to one another. I'd rather have 2 that are somewhat different. We'll do that. Alright, so that's one thing that's been happening with the current build of Frostpunk. You can hear that there was just a citizen event, but it doesn't pop up right away. It's a current bug. We'll see it in a second. There it is. See? Some time has passed. A protective mother. A mother has refused to let her daughter go to work, afraid she'll get injured. We could look the other way this time, but others might see it as unfair. Let her have a day off, or we won't make an exception. I'm going to go ahead and say we won't make an exception. Nothing will change. It doesn't change our hope or discontent situation. Now, do I have a spot where I have engineers working? Or I could have... I do. I could have workers instead. That way I can pull these engineers over to work this new medical post. That way we have a place for the new sick people. With basic resources secured for now, we can try to rescue the people we left behind. Build a beacon, scout Frostland, and save as many survivors from our expedition as possible. You need a workshop to design plans for more advanced buildings. So... waited a little bit longer than I typically do to get that workshop going, but now it's time. These resources are going to be consumed very soon, and we'll have spare folks. Steel wreckage depleted? Yep. We will have more than enough workers to work this hunter's hut in just a second. I actually, to tell you the truth, I kind of want to set up a second hunter's hut while we're in the middle of the day here. Yep, wood crates depleted. Yep, we're going to have enough to have 2 full hunting parties tonight, which is good for the food situation. It is not good. I do need to go ahead and get my workshop set up. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's exactly the way I want it. Let's go ahead and do a workshop oriented like so. We'll have another one right next to it before long. But for now, I just want to go ahead and plug those workers in. Please tell me good engineers to work the first workshop. We won't be able to work it today, but it's a good start. You can introduce a new law, adaptation. We can go ahead and say that we want to build a fighting arena. That'll help with hope and lower discontent, I think. No, it won't help with hope. It'll just reduce discontent. And I think building the first fighting arena will boost hope a little bit. So let's go ahead and sign that law. And the fighting arena will be built... Hang on, we've got plenty of wood. So let's go ahead... Well, for now, we have plenty of wood. Notice how the snow is covering up the area that got harvested for resources earlier. I love this game. The graphics are just incredible, and the music is incredible. It's good to be playing Frostpunk again, even if we're being evil overlords. Let's see, fighting arena could go... There's different ways of looking at this. I kind of like the idea of having it there. And we'll have another one over on the other side eventually.
End of shift. Go rest all who can.
Okay. So those are our engineers now have an assignment. Let's go ahead and tell them to research the beacon. And we have 10 children that are not working. What else can they do? I could do another cookhouse, but I don't know that that's needed. We don't have engineers yet. I could potentially free up engineers from another job that I have them working. Maybe. Hang on. What all do I have my engineers doing? Or I could send children out to just get some of this coal from over here. Could be a good idea. I don't know that I have any jobs that I can free up engineers from, but we're going to have scouts going out soon enough. So let's go ahead and send... Let's work both of these piles with 5 kids each. Eventually we'll get a resource gathering depot set up out there, but we can't afford to build it yet. Kids are just going to have to be cold. A fighting arena has been established in accordance with the new laws. Hope rises, yep. Alright, so discontent lowered there, and we got an initial hope boost. Discontent will continue to be kept low by the presence of that fighting arena. Okay, we've got a cold spell coming up. People are not going to like that. Not one little bit. Day 4 begins. We can keep going like this for a while, I'd say, says Jacob Woodbridge. And then it's now negative 38, 40 Fahrenheit. So what was that, Jacob? About going? It's so cold, better not go outside without a good reason. Yeah, Ada, I'm with you. Generator overdrive. So we could put the generator in overdrive as a means of keeping people warm. I'm gonna hold off on that, because that'll just make people happier in a way that I can't sustain for now, and they'll get mad at me. Sir, a woman came forward after we built the workshop. She said that her husband and daughter didn't reach the city with the main group, but she's sure they're still out there. She wants to join the first scout team we'll send out. She urges you to hurry. We'll do what we can. Double rations for kids. In the wake of recent child workers' accidents, the parents argue that we could give working children double rations to make them stronger and help prevent injuries. No, why would we do that? We can't afford it. Nothing will change. No. No. Can't do that. Alright, citizen became gravely ill, which means... We might have someone dying soon. So sad. Oh wait, hang on. One of our people has become gravely ill due to frostbite. This will keep happening if people have to work in such cold. I see. Yeah, we'll get amputation set up shortly. We can't do it for another 13 hours though. Amputation is the way that I went the first time I played Frostpunk. Just because it's like, you kind of do what you have to do, so to speak. Captain, some of our people are concerned about the low temperature in their homes. They quite sensibly point out that it's easy to fall ill when it's cold and ask you to address this problem. Let's heat some homes. Some. We should be able to keep everyone cool if we just go for some. The wisdom of the crowd. Captain, when facing demands, remember this. People usually look for the quickest solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree to everything they ask for. If you fix the problem your way, it's fine. I'll bear that in mind. Yeah, we're going to be fixing plenty of problems my way. Promise you that. Alright, so we've got some hunting parties headed out, and they should bring back plenty of food. People are still hungry despite that we haven't really had a food issue so far. That's because we're playing on hard, probably. Now, we do need... Yeah, we need to finish this research. That's the next thing we need to do. One of our people died. Yep. Does it show the dead person laying around? No, I don't think it does. You can introduce a new law. So what do we have? Let's go ahead and say radical treatment. We'll try everything to cure the gravely ill, from invasive surgery to amputations. So discontent will rise slightly as a result of this law being introduced. The gravely ill will be treated in medical posts. Yeah, so people are generally not happy at the moment. But what can you do? We gotta make sure we live, guys. God, I'm so tired. Every day's the same grind, but we've got to keep going, says Bernard Weatherden. Alright, so we're about to finish the beacon technology, and we're about to finish this episode too. Let's see. Beacon researched. Good. Let's get this done. There's not a second... There's not another appearance for the beacon. I kind of want to have the beacon out here, as opposed to closer to the city. Let's do that. And then technology-wise, I think the next thing I need to research is the steam hub so that we can heat homes. And hopefully we'll be able to get that started before long. I would like to get the beacon up before the episode ends, though. Citizen became gravely ill. So we're treating people as best we can, but we're already seeing the effects of hard difficulty. Wood crates have been depleted over here, so we no longer have... Wait, no, there's still some wood. 60 more wood, so we're going to have to research how to actually gather wood before long. And I'm sure this coal is about to run out. People are nice and cold at the moment. Beacon has been built. We're no longer lost and blind. From now on, our people will be able to survey the icy barrens that surround us, the Frostland. Okay. And there we go. Now we need to organize a scout team. We have enough wood to do it, but we need to free up some workers. Do I have workers that I can free? Tell you what. Let's have these kids. Looks like one of the people that died might have been a child. Let's have the kids help out over here. So we don't have quite as much wood coming in, but that's okay. Now we need to go ahead and arrange for some scouts. And we're going to send them to the Lost Expedition to get our survivors. And on that note, I will stop the first episode of The Black Faith here. In the next one, we're going to get those survivors with our scout. They're going to arrive in 10 hours and 49 minutes, and then bring the survivors right back. We're going to have to make sure we have homes for them, built well in advance. And we also need to make sure that we have a good research operation going. So we're probably going to get a second workshop built next episode. Lots of stuff to do. And lots of cruelty and dark times to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this first episode, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are going to be coming out every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.